Good morning and a surprisingly warm welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. It's the endurance weekend after the success of the format that we saw last year. We're going to do it again, but with a slight twist, because now we have a combined grid between the International GTOpen and the GT Cup Europe, the qualifying for which is underway now with the Cup cars out on track, and when they get running tomorrow for the 2-hour and 20-minute race, we will have over 50 cars on the grid. My name is Chris Stevens, and alongside me, it is my pleasure to welcome back to the GT Sport paddock, Chris McCarthy.
Yes, really great to be back, Chris. Thank you very much for having me, as well as the entire team as well. It's been a little while, but what a venue to come back to as well, right? Spa, one of the best circuits in the world. When you come here, it looks even more spectacular, doesn't it? And it looks spectacular enough without cars going around, but when we have these fantastic GT cars going around, it just looks even better, doesn't it? And this is where we kick off the endurance weekend. We start with the first qualifying for GT Cup Europe, and the start of what's going to be a fantastic weekend. Like you said, with the endurance race, which was such a success last year, we're bringing it back to do it this year with over 50 cars on circuit. That's going to look mega, isn't it, for the fans?
I can't imagine what that is going to look like heading down towards La Source and Eau Rouge tomorrow afternoon. But in the meantime, we have to go qualifying. So the way that this will work is we have the first lot of drivers from the GT Cup out now, and their co-drivers will have a run a little bit later on as well, as will the GTOpen guys. And it is an average of their fastest lap times from the two sessions that will set the grid. And here is a car that all eyes have been on since the opening round at Portimao. It's the number 80 Mertel Motorsport car of Ivan Velasco and Jorge Cabezas, because that won both races in Portimao. And it's Jorge Cabezas that's out on track now.
Yeah, one thing I'm sure people are wondering is, you know, whilst the cars are warming up, where's George Morgan? Where's the guy that's usually sat next to Chris Stevens? Well, he is getting married this weekend, so on behalf of the whole team, congratulations to him and the unfortunate partner that's decided to spend their life with George. I think there was possibly a conversation. Can we do the wedding at Spa? Maybe not, but congratulations to George. I'm sure he's still finding a way to watch the first qualifying session. So George, if you are watching, congratulations, mate, and have a fantastic weekend. But we're going to have a fantastic weekend. Cars getting warmed up now, ready to go. One thing, Chris, I mean, you were at Portimao, that brilliant first round. You're not going to get a lot of laps around here, though. You know, what was it, 2 minutes and 23 seconds was the quickest time in first practice. So mistakes are going to be incredibly costly around here.
Yeah, and with only a 15-minute session as well, you are definitely not going to be getting too many laps in. And we have a couple of new entries as well for the contenders to have to navigate as well. Mertel Motorsport has entered a third Ferrari 488 Challenge, which is the 81 car with a rather big name of Luca Ludwig and Axel Sartingen in that car. And we're watching another one at the moment as well, which is the number 73 Ores Racing with the father-son combination of Axel van Straten, who's in the car now, and Remy van Straten. Oh, sorry, it's Remy in the car. Apologies. Remy, the younger of the two.
Yep, we can see 17 cars out there in total. We've got the Pro-Am and the Am. We can see, as you see, the names at the bottom of screen. Green backgrounds denote Am drivers, blue will denote the Pro-Am teams, as well as we've got the number 68 here. I think this is going to be one of our first real flying laps to come in, but there we can see a bit of traffic on the way through, and lap aborted immediately for the number 68 car, Glauco Solieri. So now it's going to have to be a build-up and get ready to go once again.
Yes, and there are the colour categories, as you mentioned, but no trophy cars with us this weekend, unfortunately. So it is just the Cup cars of the Ferrari 488 Challenge and the Porsche GT3 Cup car. We have a mix of the 992 and the 991, as you saw there, this being the 992, as we're seeing, as pushing the track limits there was Glauco Solieri through Blanchimont, but up towards the bus stop chicane now, and it looks like this is going to be our first an early proper lap time as well. Comes across the line, and it's a 2:31.3. That puts him 5th fastest at the moment. Actually, the pace being set currently by Evgeny Leonov, and right as I say that, Luka Ludwig goes fastest by just over 1 second with a 2:24.286. And of course, that was a car that was very quick in practice, as was the other new car. But of course, those cars get to run new tyres in free practice, because normally you would have to run a carryover set from the previous round. But of course, they didn't have one because they're a new entry. So a little deceptive of the pace there, but certainly Luka Ludwig showing some solid pace early on.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, one car we probably should keep an eye on as well, hasn't really got going yet, the number 80, Jorge Cabezas, a double win for that team in the category here at Spa last year. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. And then we have got down there in P6, the number 44, Stefano Zanini. They were the double pole sitters back at Portimao as well. So we'll see how those guys get on. But this is a class that really is growing at the moment, and fantastic to see. There we see the 119 come up, currently sitting in provisional pole position, and we've already beaten the times that we were seeing yesterday, Chris. 2 minutes and 22 seconds, 9:42. So they're a good 6.5 tenths clear. Fernando Navarrete in the car currently, and that is a good solid time to get started with. That's quicker than what we saw in practice. It's got the
It's got the blinkers on.
It's got the blinkers on, say, get out the way, I'm on provisional pole position. There we can see the battles between the two manufacturers, really, we've got in this class. 13 Porsches, 4 Ferraris, and the prancing horse leading the way, 4 in the top 5. We will see what the Porsches can do in the next 7.5 minutes.
Yes, and I think everybody was very pleasantly surprised. We have a track limits violation already, so that's 57, well, which is the Q1 track racing Porsche of Nico van Dierendonck.
Now,
and at Blanchimont, yes, that's going to be the action spot, I think.
Well, I think if we do stay with this car, I think exactly what we're going to see is there's track limits.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that it's going to help you, but it's, I think, going into that section as well, going into Blanchimont, and then also coming out of it as well, because we'll see cars will run as far to the right-hand side of the circuit as they can. Here we go. Let's have a look what happened to the 119. Just too much speed.
Just 2 wheels on the gravel there, but kept forward momentum, and all is well still.
There we go.
119, and yes, that's exactly what we were talking about there, Chris.
Yeah, and coming into that corner as well, cars go as far to the right-hand side as they can. No grass on the outside there, so cars will often run 3 or possibly 4 wheels over the white line to try and get the biggest run through that they can. So that corner being monitored very, very closely.
As is that final corner as well, as we've had another time deletion, this time at the final corner, and of course at Eau Rouge as well. Oh, and that, yes, oddly enough, that time just being deleted for Navarrete.
Yeah, the screen is flooded with deleted track limits. I mean, if you want a commentary of just deleted track limits, one of us is going to have to basically keep our eye on that screen.
But he's still on provisional pole, though, is Fernando Navarrete in the second of the Mertel cars.
And I tell you what, Jorge Cabezas, who we did say to keep an eye on, has now come up to 3rd. Winners here last year, and they've just gone up to P3, just put in a personal best as well, Chris. 2 minutes 23.9. So that was their last lap round. In fact, that actually wasn't their best time, but they are going quick, and with the timing screen is absolutely lighting up, particularly for Fernando Navarrete. As you can see, purple, meaning he is the quickest through the first sector. But we've got the 90 car improving, and I think Luka Ludwig, who you mentioned earlier, may be about to improve and possibly challenge for pole as well.
Could well do. So Luka Ludwig, believe, has the record for the most number of Nürburgring 24-hour pole positions.
Oh, wow.
If you need any more proof of his
one.
credentials. Navarrete here, still with the blinkers on. Not sure what that's about. Little head and shoulder, kicking up some dust at the Fagnes chicane there as well. And we had more track limits coming in. I mean, we'll we'll tell you if there's anything major coming out of the track limits. Otherwise, we'll just be talking about track limits the entire session. Navarrete has lost a little bit of time in the middle sector there, so it looked a little scruffy in the Fagnes chicane there. That may be where he lost his time, and here I'm sure we'll see a very good example of what we were talking about with the track limits, because he definitely went off there. And fastest now goes Enrico Fulgenzi in the number 90. Enrico Fulgenzi racing Porsche with a 2:22.642, and it doesn't look like Navarrete is going to be able to topple that on this particular occasion.
Now this is the 169. Nice slow-mo here.
Oh, and a loop here for the Kessel.
I thought he was going to catch that, and I thought it was going to look absolutely mega, but that's the wrong way to go around the last corner, and there we go, gets it going once again. How did Navarrete get on? Did not improve, you're right. Slower through the second sector and the third as well.
Navarrete on another charge here, up Eau Rouge, and just to the point what we were talking about earlier, Chris, was that everybody was really pleasantly surprised by how close in performance the Ferraris and the Porsches were. Ferrari entering this championship for the first time. And it was certainly a very good one. And Navarrete is getting properly blocked by the 70 over the grass. And it was, well, it was a great slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, but that has absolutely ruined his lap time. And that is the GDL Racing.
I'll tell you what, it
Porsche
took a bit of a swerve in the direction of the number 70 car as well. I think that was a sign of frustration.
Yeah, Roberto Bossio there, who is currently slowest, 17th and last.
Well, here is the car going from slowest. Let's go back to the fastest, because we're seeing improvements here from Enrico Fulgenzi, and you can tell he's pushing to the absolute limit once again, coming out of Stavelot. Fantastic driving this from Enrico Fulgenzi. This is proper qualifying stuff. He's going to be going on to his last lap next time around, as will most of the field. And there you can see what I was talking about earlier, almost four wheels over the white line, pushing the limits as well as he came through Blanchimont, Chris.
That was incredibly close on the exit. Let's see what kind of a run he gets through the bus stop chicane, up on two wheels, all over the curb. Fantastic to watch. A little tail-happy action as he gets on the throttle as well. Classic Porsche Cup driving, but he doesn't improve. It's 4/10 away from his provisional pole time.
Luca Ludwig currently in third. We got Cabezas in fourth. Prijbelak in fifth place. No longer, though. His lap time is deleted. So Leonov comes up to fifth. Ryman in sixth. Then it's Van Straten in P7. Those latter two doing personal best last time around. But Navarrete has had a very, very slow second sector. Oh, and that is four wheels over there for Fulgenzi. So this might be a lap time deletion on his very last lap. Pushed the absolute limits, had nothing to lose really, is sitting in provisional pole. But Navarrete is building up for a big last lap. He is leading the AM class, so even if he does not improve and stays where he is, he would still be quickest in class. This is the lead overall in Pro-Am car. Navarrete quite comfortably the lead AM car as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's continuing to push now on this lap. So we've seen Navarrete with the fastest first sector last time around. And we'll see what he can do this time as well.
Luca Ludwig, who we've been keeping a close eye on. Luca Ludwig is currently in P3. Cabezas is aborted and has gone into the pits, but that's a very good first section for the number 81 car. Just having a look at the track map to see where he is. That's not him on screen. I believe he is making his way maybe down towards campus, but we'll keep an eye on Luca Ludwig and see where he is. In fact, he's just coming down to Pouon now. There he is. We pick him up on the pictures, and that was a very good first sector. Quickest overall. No, I think that might be the time gone, but we'll stay with it anyway. Luca Ludwig pushing for what would have been a provisional pole position, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, he could still get the time in. We'll see if it does get deleted in the end. But of course, that Ferrari 488 challenge still seems to be showing some very strong pace, like it did in Portimao. Top four cars, all four of the Ferraris, and look at the time loss in the middle sector there. This is not going to be the pole position time. for Luka Ludwig, but he's still on the second row of the grid.
Yeah, would be a fantastic performance. Cabezas would be happy with P4. Don't forget, it's the average lap times that combine the grid. So this is just the first drivers going out. It's the endurance this weekend. It's the average lap times taken across both laps. So all these guys have got to do is set a decent time for then their teammates to go out and try and match or even improve on. And when we put all the times together, that's when we'll know who's going to be our AM driver. So Fulgenzi currently would be quickest, but now it's down to his fellow driver in the number 90, which will be Shintaro Akatsu, to see what he can do.
Yep, Stefano Zanini here, not quite finished with his qualifying in the SB Racing Porsche. Goes up to 12th. And that was a very rapid car, of course, in the hands of Eugenio Pisani last time out as well. So that could well be a car that moves up the order once we have the averages worked out for the two qualifying groups. And here is that number 70 GDL Racing Porsche that I imagine someone's going to go and have some words with after that moment for Navarrete that we saw into Les Combes. And car 81. Oh, that's Luka Ludwig's last lap time because we saw him go off in the exit of Pouon there, but that won't affect his final result because he didn't improve. So it is Fulgenzi fastest in qualifying 1. And now, as you said, Chris, it's up to the teammates to consolidate their grid position because it is the average that sets the grid.
What a beautiful shot that is.
Fantastic.
Well. There you can see the Spa.
And last time we came to Spa, it was 90% done with all the work that was going on at the time, but it's nice to see it now in its final form once again.
And I tell you what, that is a great place to watch as well, but here is, and this was the lap we watched live, wasn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here from Enrico Fulgenzi.
Absolutely classic tail-happy action. Here are the results of qualifying 1 for GT Cup Europe. It's Enrique Fulgenzi fastest for his eponymous team. The Porsche currently fastest. Then it is 3 Ferraris, Fernando Navarrete, Luka Ludwig and Jorge Cabezas, all for Mertel Motorsport in the top 4. Navarrete also securing the AM pole position in that class as well. Xander Prisbilak, who won the AM class last time out in Portimao Q1 track racing. He's in 5th. Evgeny Leonov in 6th. Alex Ryman and Alexandra Pichez in 8th and 9th. And then Remy Van Straten and Nico van Dierendonk completes the top 10 further down the order. Glauco Solio, Camille Perian, Stefan Zanini, Stefano Borghi, Roberto Ficiccio, Stefano Zerbi and Roberto Bossio. That is the order, the top 17 for the GT Cup cars. We will see how their teammates fare in qualifying 2 a little bit later on. But first of all, we have to see how the International GTOpen cars go in their first qualifying session. So we will see you then.